Hello, this is Satbir. This is our live coding video on part 3, where we will build the static and or the front end of our website in the Django framework. Today we will make sure that our website will look like this, which have a nav bar and then the body and also a footer. So let's get started that how we can turn into the previous version of our website into this version. So let's go to the terminal and first activate our virtual environment. This was the virtual environment, and run the server. And once I run the server, if I come here to my local host, I think this was the previous version of my website was where this is the home page actually. So what I think we are doing, basically we are using this README file from our to build our website, because I'm writing all these code here. So today our topic is basically building the front end. So we're gonna follow these steps, so it will be easier, we don't forget things. For today steps, the first things we need to go into this basically the themes. This is the start bootstrap.com, which has these sort of the free themes. And I believe also I think the Twitter is the one who created these sort of the themes. So we're just gonna go and download a free themes, and then we go into where it will get downloaded, and here unzip that file. So we're gonna copy these file at some point and paste into our folder. So let me see where we need to do that. So in the second step, we need to create two folders. One is the statics, and inside this statics, we need to create a folder with the name theme. So let's do that. Basically, let me first kill the terminal, and I'm gonna just open the website folder. So this is my website folder. The first thing is that I need to create a folder where this manage.py file is. So I'm gonna create a folder manually. I can create with the terminal, but let's do it manually this time. And inside of that folder, we're gonna create another folder named theme. So once I have folder named themes, I'm gonna copy all these files. So I'm gonna copy and paste all these files into that folder theme. Okay, let's also open the code, the Visual Studio, and look what change here. So this is the statics, and it has a theme folder, and in the theme folder we have all these files. Okay, this is all good. Now we need to basically configure the path. We can access that folder statics. So we're gonna copy these code, and once we copy, we're gonna go into the setting.py file. So you see setting.py file is here, and here is the statics underscore URL. Underneath that, you're gonna copy these code, and as you can see what these code does, basically it connect the base directory, which is the website project is my base directory, to configure that static folder which is inside that base directory, to this attach that path to this folder. Okay, so the next step is, once we configure, we're gonna connect the index, base, nav, and footer. So because we wanna have the nav bar on the top, we're gonna have the body in between, and then the footer on the end. So we're gonna do these, copy this code. This code is going inside of the index file. So it's gonna math me up, and then go to the templates, and then go to the index and delete what was written over there and paste these code. So again, you see this first extend the base.html, and these the curly parentheses and percentage, this is the templates, which is sort of a use in the Django framework to define sometime the variable and use them. If you want to learn more, just like Google this thing, how the Django do the templates, and you will sort of get that idea. But here, let me explain you this. This is basically taking all the code which is in the base.html file and you're gonna extend it here or copy or paste here, and basically we will be executed here. This is again another variable title. So block, end block, and these code, whatever is written there, you can refer that into the another files with that variable titles, whatever is in these body of inside of that code, which will be get printed wherever you want to. This is another variable block, and block, as you see, this variable is named content. So whatever you put inside of that, this will be physically printed. So next, let's go to the base, because base is going to be our main HTML, which we're going to construct that page. So I'm going to delete this one. So what are we going to do is we're going to copy these code, come here and paste it there. Maybe I will delete this for now, but I need to add that later. So what you see, this is the head. Head is basically, I take that variable from the index.html file and put it there inside of the head, which is the title. Then the body, inside of this body, so this is the HTML language, the way it is written. So inside of the body, I have nav bar on the top. Then basically this is some content in the main, main content. And then I have a footer at the end. So this is how the body look like, and let's see what is the next step. I think that's sort of for now for is this, and before we go to the step number 7, why not we make sure that everything is working fine. So let's run the server, and I believe there is nothing error on the server when it run, and go to the local host. And as you can see, you see the home page, the nav bar is on the top, this is the body, and this is the footer. Okay, so now let's go back again to the Visual Studio. And actually now we need to go back to the step number 7. So in step number 7, we have to copy the code for the index.html file of the static folder and paste them into the base.html file. So if you have the access of this README file, you can copy here and paste there. But let me show you that how you can do the step number 7 um, on the Visual Code Studio. What I mean actually. So you see, this is the static folder we just created, and there is another file which is called the index.html, which we download it from the freelancer website. So it has a lot of code here, which is basically the build the whole front end for that theme. The first things we're gonna do is we're gonna take this head and copy this head into the base file where that head is. So basically we will copy and paste that one here. So that's the one thing we're gonna do. Let's take a space. The second one is we go to the index file, the same one, and I've got the end of this index file, and there is some JS core code. I'm gonna copy these code also and go into the base.html file, and I'm copy these code into the body because I took the code from the body, so I will be copying the body. And the two things here need to be configured. The first thing is that if you go into the local host, and you see there are some changes. This is a nav bar, this is the body, and this is the footer. And then another thing you can see if you inspect the page, and then you go to the network, and this is the cache. You have to sort of enable the cache. So here you can check there are some errors coming up, localhost something, and all these the error you can go and check. But I can show you these error also in the terminal. So in the terminal saying that this file has not been loaded, so this file, so css.style and JS script and JS styles, they 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 are not been into the access. So the reason for this is, if I go back into my again into my visual code, you see this is the path which is not correct, or basically it's not correct because it is according to the freelancer website. So we need to basically configure that one. So the first things we need to do is we need to use this templates and load this static folder, because these are files. The style.sss is in the static folder. So then here I'm gonna give that path with, again, I'm gonna use this templates language. So it is in this static, and then double quote is in the theme, and inside of the theme I can just copy and paste here. It will be easier for me, are these, so this is one code I need to copy again, and the same thing I have to do for here. I'm gonna paste here instead of this. Now I'm gonna cut this and paste here. So let's see that if I refresh these things, all these things are now getting loaded. So there was nothing here. Now all these files are loaded here. And let's see that if there is any error now. It seems like there is no error now. So this can get this file, static theme JS script.js has been loaded, and the CSS style has been loaded. So that means everything is at this point is working okay. Okay, so but still we have basically this nav bar body and this footer, because we didn't write any code there, which can basically build these base. We just write the code in the base.html. Next time we're gonna go in the index, and why not go to the nav bar first and configure these code first. So if I go to the nav bar and then I go into the the index.html, and here if you scroll, and here is a nicely headed that nav bar. I'm gonna take this nav bar, copy the whole entire thing. It comes to this nav bar file and paste it here. Okay, so once we do that, I can go back into my browser and see that, refresh this, and now this is working. So we have the start bootstrap, which is sort of the heading, and we have this. Let me also close this one: portfolio, about, and contact. So as you can see, these are coming here. I'm gonna just like change these things to home, and this is about contact. If I need more buttons, I can just copy paste and create more button. Let's suppose create, this is like a profile, so need a profile. Later on we need login, login, and also we need log out. And if we go back into our browser, you see the buttons are there. So now this is sort of, we build the nav bar. Again, in the nav bar, maybe change this one to math me up. So math me up. If I do that, come here, refresh. Now that's been changed. Now next we need to do is need to build the body. So you see the body is here. So we need to put some code here in the body. So I will go there. What code I'm gonna put into the body is that the code which I need there from the index.html. And these code is gonna be under this must head. So I'm gonna take these code, I believe, yeah, and to the header, copy these code, and then go into the index file and paste inside of the content, because these are the content which build the body. And if I go back into the browser and refresh it, so seems like this thing is not loading. So we can inspect the page and go to the network. And then if I go here, so the disables, so seems like there are few things not working here. So you see that if I go to the image img, this image is not get uploaded, you know. So this is a 404, it means they cannot find this image. So what is the reason? If you look into this image, the path is going into the asset, so path is not correct. So what we will do is, first we gonna load the static file. So load sts static, and then we're gonna change that path. So how are we gonna change? We're gonna use this dynamic templates language, which is gonna be a static. One way is you can directly basically put that path there. I can say that, okay, go into the statics and the main folder, statics, the assets, and all these things. Another way is basically to use this variable language where, like, if anything I change later, I do not have to change everywhere. It automatically dynamically get changed. So here, basically, assets are in the theme folder. So you see, if you go to the statics, then theme, assets, image, and hopefully you find that image. Let's see that if, yeah, so it's able to find that image, that is also correct. And we can close this one. So this is how the website look now. So still we don't have any code for the footer. So why not go and change that as well? So we're gonna go again into the index.html and maybe find footer. So it's gonna be real. Let's see where the footer is. This is the about, this is the section, this is the content. We need that a little later. And this is the footer. So we're gonna find, copy all the code in the footer and copy these, go into the footer and paste here. Okay, so let's see. Save, you have to save that one. So, and then now the website is sort of look like the way we want it to. And also, like, if you see, it has this sort of also the mobile version of that. So if you make it smaller, it's still working in the mobile form as well. You can also like change these things, like how you're gonna do it. Again, as you see, this is in the body. So I'm gonna just do the comment that, because I don't need the subheading, so I'm gonna comment this out. Subheading, I don't need the subheading, so I will comment it out. Another is, this is a bootstrap, you know, which is, I'm gonna say, you see that the tagline I have was empowering decision making. And let's see that, go back here. So you see that's empowering decision making. Maybe I will comment that these things are icons, you know, divider icons out also. So I just need to do this and then comment them out as well. So in order to comment, you just command and this question mark key, it will just automatically comment it out, or you can delete it if you don't need them. But maybe in future I need, so I just keep that one, you know. So you see this is got deleted also. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this logo and also this background picture. and I'm gonna also change some style of this website. So how you can do that, actually, let me first show you the file where your all styling is. So if you go to statics, this folder which we basically download from the freelancer website, and you can go to the CSS, and then you see there is a style file which is called a style.ccs. So if you come here and change few things, you see that all these things, they have sort of, the dimensions and all kind of things. If you tweak these things, you will see that these things will change here. So one way to work is basically you can come here and just play with them, and you will basically will be able to make some changes with trial and error. So what I'm gonna do is, actually I'm gonna use a bit different approach rather than going here and changing them, finding them where I need to change, what I need to change. I'm gonna create another folder, and I'm gonna override some of these code. So like if I need to change certain thing, I will just override that piece of code in that file. So let me show you how you can do that. So now next thing is gonna be how to override the style. So first things we're gonna do that, we're gonna create a folder CSS, and then I'm gonna create a file which is called a main.css. Then we can also create a folder which we're gonna put all our images there, and then we're gonna copy and paste these code. So let's first go and create these folder. So what we can do is basically easier ways. I'm gonna kill the terminal. I'm gonna open that folder, and I'm gonna go to statics, and then I'm gonna create here a folder with the name CSS. And inside of that folder, so let me see if the do you see that if I go into statics, then I have this folder with the name CSS. I'm gonna go inside of CSS, and I'm gonna create a file, touch main.css. So you can see now there is a file with the name main.css. Let's go back into the main folder and now open again. So as you can see now, I have a folder which has a CSS, and then inside of that I have this file where I'm gonna override my code. So one more folder we need is with the name img, where I'm gonna basically have my background image or all the images which I want to use or overwrite. I'm gonna put that these images there. Okay, as you can see, I have this background image. I'm gonna copy these two, and I'm gonna paste them here. So now I have a background image, and I have also logo inside of the folder which I created. So let me show you. So now let me show you these things in the code. So you can see, so what I did is basically I went into the static folder and I create a folder with the name CSS, and inside of CSS I have created that file main.css. There is nothing in it. Then another folder I create the image in the same static folder, and inside of that image folder I put two images, the background image and also my logo. So you can find these images from somewhere in internet, or you can make your own. Okay, next things we're gonna do is we're gonna basically copy some code into the main.css file. So again, if I go to the my GitHub page here, I can copy these code. So let me first copy these code. There are a lot of them, and I'm gonna come here and paste them here. So what these codes actually does, it override these code which was in the CSS file inside of the theme, and then CSS, there is a style file. So you see there are some code here. So this main file, there are some of them which will override the one which I want. For example, I want to write the padding on the top. So this is sort of in the website, these paddings, I want to change the dimension of that. So I just basically copy that from the style.cs file and paste it here, and then basically change the dimension. There are all these things here. They even a font, so we're gonna change the font of the nav bar as well. There are some PG primaries and all these the font. So also there is like, this is a background image and all these things which will be changed. One more thing we have to do, because we have to enable these things. So I'm gonna copy these code, which is basically gonna upload the static the file in the static folder main.css file we just created. So we need to upload that into the base.html file, and I'm gonna paste these code below that where I have the style.css. Now these two files now should be get uploaded. Next things we do that, we go again start the server. So I have this basically make file, make run server. We're going to start the server, and then let's go and refresh this. You see that there is some styling has been changed now, but the logo picture and the background picture is not changed, because let me show you why it's not. If you go to the network and you refresh, you see that this BG, this the background image, and that is this is the style. So this is not get uploaded. If you can just go to the image, it means this image is not getting uploaded. And also we need to change that avatar image, because that is the avatar image is showing up, but we need to change our background image. So let's see how we can do that. If we go back onto the code, first things we will do is we go into the index.html file and change this to our logo. So logo, you see that logo file is in the folder which I created, and it is extension is the format is basically JPEG, and also is not in the asset, it is in the directly into the static folder and then the image folder inside of that. So if I go back again, let's see, this image has been correctly uploaded and it's, you see, it's changed. Now let's basically upload the background image, because the name of the background image is not BG. So we're gonna go into the file we just created, the main.css, and then you're gonna look for here. You see here the name of the image is a background. I have a very long name, so background image. So that's all I need to change. If I come here again and refresh, you see this background image is changed, and here you see this has also been loaded. One thing you also have seen that there is this file which is not there. So I'm gonna go into that main.css file, and you can see that if you scroll up, you see that I have these font. So the font face, all I just do is basically I'm gonna just copy this one, go to the browser, paste them here, and I think I just go to the first website, download this zip file, and then I'm gonna go into the folder, unzip this, and when you unzip, you can see that this is a folder subtract, and it has this format OTF, and also there is another format, WOF. I want to have these two folder basically here. So what I will do is I'm gonna go again into statics CSS and then create a folder here, and I'm gonna name it fonts, so, and in that folder I'm gonna copy these font. So first I'm gonna want to this subfolder, I'm gonna paste them here, and then I also want these. So I have two format. You can have more than one, because when your font, the different browser use the different the format. So this is the advisable to have more than one or two. So now we have them. So all we need to go do is basically go to the CSS file and basically override here. So how we do override? So you create that font face and you font family. I say my font, or I can say math. Let's say actually math and math me up website font, and here I have to basically also say math me up. So I'm overwriting in the navbar brand, so that's why basically I mentioned that one here. So go save. Already saved because I have enabled the save option automatically. So then if I do that here, somehow it's not getting still. What is the name is that? And web, I think the name is that web front. So let's see that our name is correct. So if one OWFF name need to be corrected. So let's see, go to this main.css. It's not a web front name anymore. It is just that regular, and that this one is correct, I believe. Let's go here. Now as you see that the font has been uploaded, and the fonts change here as well. Okay, the one last things I want to show you is that how to debug your website. So as you can see that if I go into console, there are few error which I have. These are uncaught error. The one uncaught error is that this some scroll play things. You can also click and see that why it is coming, and when I Google these sort of why this is happening, then I found that why it's happening. So let me show you that. If you go into that are static folder, and inside of these statics there is a theme, and then there is inside of theme there is a JS and a script JSS. So if you scroll on that file, you will find this active bootstrap scroll spy on the main nav element. Actually, what we need to do is we need to comment this these code. Because the theme which we were using, it has like the multiple page as one page, so they need that scroll things, but we don't need, because we having a separate page, so we need to disable that. If now you go and basically refresh, you see this error is gone. And there is another error which is a sub form latest that in that JSS file, so you can also go and debug them. What I found that when I was writing these code on, because I paste these code into the base.html file, and here this sub form need to be, I think you have to be active, but we are not even using that. So what are we gonna do is we just gonna comment it. If you active them, then you don't have to do that, but because we're not gonna use it, so it's not. And then you go back and you see that there is no error now in your, there is not even any uncaught error. Okay, this is all for today. Thank you very much for watching this video. And please, if you are a new user here, and subscribe the channel. This will help me to make more video. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.